everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Garboyd, and I'm sitting here with Francois Soutif. How's it going,
Hello,
man?
I'm doing good.
If you guys don't know, Francois is actually is helping us out here at the Fountainhead. He's
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
you say what you do. You tell. Yeah, you tell.
Yeah, I'm the new media facilitator. My background is in filmmaking and production,
Mhm.
so I'm here to help anyone here with video making and editing as well.
Cool.
And I'm here on Mondays and Fridays, unless I'm here for other work. But yeah, if you're here and I'm here and you have questions, feel free to ask me.
Cool. So, how did you get involved in like film? What made you want to get in there?
So I wanted to be a film director since I was 12. And I've been working steadily somewhat steadily ever since. Went so right out of high school, worked for a year, saved up to come back to BC, and went to Capilano's film program, which is an excellent program, called the Motion Picture Production Program, and met a bunch of crazy, artistic, fun people who are very passionate about filmmaking, and got my start with them, where the final exam is literally you have to make your own short film done the studio way. So you have to, plan the shoot the plan. You have to make sure all the lights are set up. You have to make sure all the audio, you have to make sure everything's run correctly. And for me, like since I had to direct, you have to make sure part of the final exam is to have your plan, your prep. And my God, it's a lifesaver. Like that's like when you're on set and there's 1.5 million people asking you questions, you don't have time to think. You need to, and so that's when you have the book, you can just point to it as reference because when you're there, you're focused on the performance and the actors and the overall vision of the film. So it was a great experience, and then from there went on to work on a few television programs, so some indie films here, and then in late 2012, 2013, I moved back east and got a degree in communications. Traveled the world for a bit and worked in Montreal for a YouTube channel called Babbletop, and oddly enough, had more reached my 1 million views in 7 months.
Nice.
So I was very happy about that. And then now my fiance and I just moved back to Vancouver, and we're now staying here and currently forming a production company
Nice.
and looking to get back into directing.
Cool. Do you have a name for the production company yet?
It's Live Like Productions, and it's currently being formed. I've sent the name registration, and I have the domain name, and it's in development. It's in the
Cool.
works.
So, like, obviously, as want to become a filmmaker, there has to be some films that really like made you want to do it, or directors that made you want to do it. So, who are
Yeah.
your inspirations?
So they kind of changed over the years, but my top favorite film is The Matrix, or my top three would be The Matrix, The Holy Mountain, and Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Very different films between the three. But The Matrix I always go back to. It's something I can just watch over and over and kind of find something new in it and really appreciate it. Um, but for filmmakers, I really love Scorsese and Alejandro Jodorowsky, and oddly enough, Werner Herzog. I find that I was able to really connect with his documentary films. He's able to reveal a deeper truth than what mere facts can display. Like there's a great clip on YouTube that talks about that shows a penguin just walking into the inland of Antarctica. And they're saying, well, this penguin's clearly, not going to survive. He just decides to walk inland, but why? Why is he doing this? Did he go crazy? Is he suicidal?
Yeah.
um, yeah, and of course, famously, my favorite part is when he asked Elon Musk, "Does the internet dream of itself?" So yeah, there's that. There's them. I would say I love Tarantino, but I find he's referenced too much.
Yeah.
Like every film student says, "I love Tarantino. I love Tarantino."
Yeah.
So for me now, I also have to list Bertolucci, who did a great film called The Conformist. That's about a Italian fascist who has to assassinate his old philosophy professor.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting film. So yeah, it just comes back to a love of the visuals and a love of storytelling and proper storytelling.
Yeah.
Um, I know it's gonna be a little dry to say over and over again, but there's a saying that a painting can say what words can't.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with film. Moving images can say what same things that words can't necessarily at the time. And and there's a certain sense of magic in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the end goal is to make dreams become visual, to take what's in here and put it in front of others.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's an interesting time in film because
Yeah.
it's either going to be like it's crazy the effects that are you can use now.
Hmm.
Special effects are the next level. Matrix was one of those movies that had like
Hmm.
amazing story
Oh yeah.
as well as amazing visuals.
Oh
And
yeah.
I find nowadays it's a lot of the time
Yeah.
it can either go either way. It's like an amazing
Yeah.
story with like not very great production
Hmm.
or just action effects with no storyline or the storyline just sucks.
Hmm.
So it's really nice when you get those handful of movies nowadays that can do both. They
Hmm.
know how to take just like when you take like huge franchises, for instance, like a Star Trek film or their
Hmm.
series, like being able to take the best of today's special effects, but also script right,
Hmm.
like come up with immaculate scripts that come out as like amazing television or amazing movies. But like it's interesting that you're talking about there's certain directors I have no idea who you're talking about there,
Hmm.
right? Obviously, and then there's the big names like you said, the Tarantinos and stuff. But for you, it seems like it's a vast
Yeah.
like difference of like style of movies are probably
Yeah,
filming, right?
like I forgot to mention Robert Rodriguez. He's always been a great inspiration. I definitely recommend reading Rebel Without a Crew because it's his Diaries of Making El Mariachi, his first film, and it's a fun little action film that got him famous essentially because he's able to make this competent action film for $7,000.
Oh wow,
Yeah, with no crew.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's really hard work to do, but that's where your love and passion comes in. Like in film school, they're telling me, you need to love it because you're going to hate it.
Oh yeah, that's arts. It's arts. I find
Yeah.
anything to do with it could be like film, music.
Mhm.
It could be just drawing, painting, literally any art.
Mhm.
It's so frustrating. If you're doing it for just passion and you're not expecting
Mhm.
the monetize from it,
Yeah.
it can be beautiful. It can be awesome if
Oh
you're
yeah.
just doing it. But if you're expecting you want to take that step and either make it your career, make it a side
Mhm.
hustle or whatever, do what you want to. But like it's really hard to do that. As
Mhm.
film takes a lot of time, so you either have to
Yep.
go full on in or just
Mhm.
give up your dreams. And if
Mhm.
you're making independent movies and you're not getting that money back and you're just spending and you're not making it back, it's
Mhm.
frustrating. It's
Yeah, it
really,
is.
it's extremely, I know it from music production, same exact thing. You love
Mhm.
making the music. But if you have to pay bills, like everybody has to pay bills, especially
Yep.
when you just went to expensive school for years,
Mhm.
how are you going to pay for it if you have to, as you probably know, you have to basically volunteer for many jobs for a
Mhm.
long time
Yeah.
and just to get kind of your foot in the door.
Yeah, and I already did, yeah, I did that right at the beginning, but fortunately was able to skip like being a PA in film.
Yeah,
I was able to kind of skip some of the mediocre, well, the mediocre, not even mediocre, but menial work,
yeah,
uh, and just go directly into post production. Like I was working as a DIT and an editor, uh, and that worked out very well. Like,
yeah.
although these days I'm looking more to be able to stand on my own 2 feet.
Yeah. It's hard, man. I know exactly how that
Yeah.
is because I mean, until recently with this business,
Mhm.
like I went to school when I was 20 years old, 19, 20 years old for music production. Did it for a while, made a little bit of money, and then as soon as it started, like early 20s, and like
Mhm.
wanted to do the music, but just having to get jobs, and then slowly like.
Mhm.
Okay, music's super expensive. I don't have time for music. I have to work, and then
Yeah.
you start doing the like relationship, marriage, kids,
Mhm.
whatever you do, like it is so hard to keep
Yeah.
that passion. 2020 I think did, and now into 2021 is if people are at home
Mhm.
more, they've been able to kind of dip their foot back into their passions and
Mhm.
realize that like you only live
Mhm.
once and maybe
Yeah.
being working
Carpe
from home.
diem.
Yeah, like do what you got to do. I mean,
Mhm.
when I know from when we were starting this business and buying stuff and just
Mhm.
equipment and all that, microphones were hard to find. They
Mhm.
were online like crazy because so many people were picking up podcasting as a home passion project, or
Mm-hmm.
becoming YouTubers, or just being like trying to become social media icons, whatever. But like it's a weird time. People are picking up guitars after 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like for you, you moved back. What you said, you moved back here. When did you move back here?
I moved back in September
Yeah,
from Montreal.
like September 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how was moving here during a pandemic? Like, how was Montreal compared to
Uh,
here?
so Montreal's way worse than
Yeah.
here. You know, we dodged the bullet. We dodged the second wave bullet right in time. I was fortunate, you know, again, I was fortunate that when I was working for Babbletop, I was able to work from home.
Yeah.
But then my steam kind of ran out and left and picked up a passion job with a local publishing company called Jamrock Records, which I'm still with. And then we decided to just move to Vancouver. We were already planning on doing it, but just made it sooner than later. And it went fairly well. We had a couple of hiccups here and there, but the movers were able to come in, take our stuff, and leave. And then we were able to catch our flight. Yeah, we had to wear the N95 mask and the entire time, but we came back COVID negative, and we were able to settle here no problem.
Yeah.
I What does creep up on you though, like what I notice is that particularly when you're staying at home a lot, is that it does affect your mind. It's ever so slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It can bring the blues. It can make you feel less social.
Yeah.
Like I know, like after seeing one friend, it just feels weird doing social distancing after seeing someone for first time in years.
Yeah.
So it's it's not terrible, but it's kind of a bummer, you
Yeah.
know. But weirdly, but for movie industry, it's been crazy right now.
Oh yeah.
It's been they're making more productions than ever because now everyone's at home watching Netflix.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, from what I understand, Vancouver as a whole, just because
mhm.
the states actually, it's as messed up as it is, the states have more regulations in certain ways when it comes to
Yeah,
like film crews and stuff. I heard LA is like really strict about it, so they're not
yeah,
shooting there. So Vancouver got an influx of shows that were being shot. I mean, Vancouver was
mhm,
already a hotbed, but they had an influx of shows that were supposed to be filming in the
mhm,
states that moved up here because
mhm.
the numbers were much lower. They had it organized how to do it.
Yep.
But knowing, like, I've talked to people within the industry, and they
Mhm.
were all like, it went from 0 to 100, like,
Yeah.
or 0 to even more than that. It was like
Mhm.
when the first initial,
Quadrillion.
yeah, when the first initial lockdown went and all filming did stop
Mhm.
everywhere, and then numbers started getting good, and they were like opened the floodgates. It was
Mhm.
like it went from zero things being filmed to like just insane influx where I know like the whites they couldn't, it was like
Mhm.
just how do we manage
Yeah.
getting all this equipment to these places, right? So
Mhm.
it's just it's crazy how COVID, certain businesses have just went
Yeah, I've been taking off, and film industry's been taking off right now.
yeah,
And interestingly enough, like you're talking about like paying the bills, film industry is one places where you are paid a lot of money, like as a crew member, particularly if you're working a studio shoot.
yeah,
So it is a viable career, but the real problem is the hours.
yeah,
Like you can work 60-hour weeks for 6 months at a time or a few months at a time. So your work kind of becomes your life.
yeah,
And I know that it does affect your marriages
yeah.
and relationships, but you do it because you want to be there.
That's arts.
Mhm.
I think in general, though, it takes you away from family, friends, whatever, if you have to do it because it takes a lot of time. People don't realize how
Mhm.
much effort goes into
Oh yeah.
even basic film, basic editing. Like it
Hmm.
takes time. So when you and
It's hard to make a bad movie.
oh yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, but it just being able to, it's almost like what is worse on families
Mhm.
and people being apart for longer periods of time, or those long days and getting projects done quicker and condensed,
Mhm.
like long day periods instead of let's stretch this filming out to a year and like have it so you're working regular days. You're going to
Mhm.
be away from your family technically more,
Yep.
and and your demand of getting those shows on and things like Netflix. Like
Mhm.
nowadays, I'm hearing like people are ending filming, editing. The shit's out in a month. Like it's out
Mhm.
fast.
Oh yeah.
They're still filming the season while the first few episodes are coming out sometimes
Oh yeah.
nowadays, right? So it's just and that's how the world's going. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, it's me and Aaron watch a few shows, and they just started again on TV, and it's like it is so bizarre actually watching things on TV now that you
Mm-hmm.
have to wait every week for.
I know, right? I had to do that for The Expanse.
Uh,
I was wanting to binge it in one day, but no.
yeah, and it's like even worse. Like we binge watch everything, and like then we watch Kim's Convenience, which is the
Mhm.
hilarious Canadian show, right?
Yeah.
And we have one episode of the new season. It just came out last week or this
Hmm.
week, and it's a half an hour, which makes it 22 minutes on cable or whatever. And you're
Hmm.
just like, I have to wait another week for
Oh.
22 minutes of entertainment. It's like it's pretty brutal when I can go and watch the first two seasons
Hmm.
like that. I
Yeah.
can get through it so fast because they're so quick of episodes, right?
Yeah. It's like I guess we're back to 1999.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's like, what do you do now? It's like, but social media has made it like spoiler crazy. So you go
Hmm.
online if you're watching a show that is weekly, you
Hmm.
don't want to get it spoiled. But it's like, some people might just want to wait till that thing is all out and then just go
Yeah.
binge it because
Yeah.
it's just a style of watching.
Yeah, I
Watching.
remember one of the actors from the new Star Wars films said he was waiting till it was over to binge it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
for Game of Thrones at least.
yeah. Game of Thrones, man.
Mhm.
I bet people would like it. I wish people wouldn't have watched that last episode from what I understand. I never watched it.
Yeah, I
I
did.
me and Aaron can watch it.
I found it wasn't as bad as people said it was, but I understand why. Like I found that it was very poetic
Yeah.
and was doing something different from what we were expecting.
Yeah.
It's kind of because the whole thing about where George R. R. Martin comes from is that he says, okay, we have a great king, but what's his tax policy? You know, like there's boring stuff in there, but it kind of informs the world and the decisions these characters make. So, you know, after the conflict's done, it's like, oh, we have this other conflict here. Oh, what do we happen after the city gets burned down? Oh, I guess we're at the table again. It's almost like it ends at the beginning, you know,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Tyrion, yeah, where
And
Tyrion's sitting
from what
with
I
the
understand, there's more
advisors.
coming out. I don't know like how much, but isn't they're doing like some kind of spin off to it?
I hope they don't. I
Yeah.
guess like some things are just best left alone, I find.
What do you think? Okay, this is just a total
Mhm.
switch. Best television show of all time in your opinion? It's probably
Oh God.
I know mine. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh God, that's like, does it have to be
It doesn't matter. Like any show that is been
it's
on
hard.
TV, really. Like any, like it could be
Hmm.
the HBO, the Showcase, or it could be Fox. It could be NBC sitcoms. It doesn't matter. Like it really.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, you know, it depends on the genre you're looking for.
I honestly could tell you just if from watching any television show and
Mhm.
being hooked on any series, anything. Breaking Bad from starting to finish,
Yeah.
in my opinion, was the best written show of all
Mhm.
time. Every other show has its flaws in a season, and
Mhm.
for some, when I go back and watch that, I don't think there's flaws in it. I think it
Mhm.
was a perfect
Yeah,
story.
it was.
Everything about it was done well. You go back and like one of my other favorite shows, The Sopranos.
Mhm.
Not the same. Bad ending, my opinion. There's a new movie coming out, from what I understand, about young Tony Soprano.
Okay.
See how that's gonna be. Same with like shows like Dexter. Ruined
Yeah,
it.
he's coming
Ruined.
back.
Yeah,
I
and
stopped after season 5. I
it
didn't feel like.
got ruined. It was
Yeah.
great, and it just got ruined. And that's
Got
what I find.
ripped.
I find that TV show creators and writers almost write expecting to be canceled. That's how I feel like a lot of Hollywood script writers are doing it now. It's like they get new writers all the time. They come in, okay, what do we do with the story now? Okay, we have to make it so that if this gets canceled, not everybody's so like pissed that they were hooked on something, because it literally like some shows are just absolutely brutal that way, where it's like how here's a show that I love but I also hate, and that's The 100. I don't know if you ever watched The 100.
Yes.
It,
Actually,
it,
my uncle just finished painting for that
oh
film,
yeah,
for that series
yeah.
this last season.
It was a great show, but you can tell they expected to get canceled because it was a different. Every season was a different, complete different story.
That's true.
And the CW is one of those networks that's like, I find like shows get
I thought that was
canceled.
Netflix.
No, it was CW. It was CW, and then Netflix picked it up as well,
Yeah.
and they had an agreement with CW, so they would air it weekly as well. But it was a CW show, and
Okay.
CW shows are very well known to either succeed heavily or just get canceled instantly. So like I felt like The 100 was always worried they were going to get canceled. I loved it. It was such a cool concept, almost like that.
Yeah.
But there was always such flaws in the storyline and in the writing, and it just made absolute no sense sometimes.
I stopped after a while. I guess I was never really into teen drama. It's like it was just like it's like high schooler.
Yeah,
I was like looking at it, it's just high schoolers trying to figure out everything, and I'm like, don't you miss the days where it's mature people going down on away missions? You know, which probably springs right to one of my favorite stories that still holds up to Star Trek Next Generation.
yeah,
In college, I was known to be the Star Trek guy, but Next Gen still holds up
yeah,
for me, like because the stories themselves are self-containing. You can come into one episode and not have to know what happened before,
yeah,
and as Michelle Nichols says, it's actually a morality play in disguise of a sci-fi film. So
yeah,
there's always a deeper substance to it, and it's always fun to jump in. But you are right. Breaking Bad is definitely on up there. But
yeah,
I can't necessarily have a singular best show.
yeah,
Like I would like personally right now I love The Expanse.
yeah,
I highly recommend everyone watch that because to me that's the best sci-fi show on television right now
yeah,
because it's about space. It's about well, it's awesome.
yeah,
It's scientifically accurate and is able to use physics to make it more awesome
yeah,
because they're using thrust and G's like 1G, 2G, 3G to give way to just a single turn of the ship. It's like imagine you're on a giant roller coaster ride and you're just shifting like several G's to one side and your head just feels like it's going to explode, or you're having to dodge flying bullets in space and there's like bullets kind of flying around you, and and it just keeps evolving and changing through each season of course, and unlike Game of Thrones, the final book will be ready before the series ends.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They have
yeah.
they have 8 books right now and the ninth one is coming out this year.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm on the third.
crazy. What network's that on?
Oh, it's on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, it's on Prime.
Yeah, check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Prime is one of those things that I think not enough people even know about. Even people
Mhm.
that have
Yeah,
Amazon Prime as a like
The
for
Boys.
yeah.
Definitely The Boys I would also
Oh, The
recommend.
Boys, we watched a bit of
Yeah.
that. Me and Aaron have. It's pretty dark.
Oh yeah.
I love the dude who plays that. What's the main character, like the main Superman style character?
Oh yeah, Homelander.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
it's so dark.
Yeah, he's just a sociopath.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was great. Like the first episode, your mouth drops with like the
Yeah.
fast dude, and like yeah, no, that's a great show. I
Mhm.
think Prime has some, honestly, also has some older stuff that
Mhm.
like you wouldn't think, like a lot of nostalgic like kids cartoons and stuff from the 90s. I find on there all the time trying to play for my kid, right?
Yeah.
But it's yeah,
And maybe you can get SpongeBob.
yeah, it's SpongeBob's and everything.
I love SpongeBob.
But yeah, man, where can we find you, like stuff that you've done or like your like,
Yeah.
social media profiles,
So
whatever?
you can find my Instagram is Francois, and you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Francois Philippe Soutif.
Yeah.
And you can go to my website, francoisacalypse.world, and that has all my work on it.
Cool, cool. Any projects that you worked on that are just like your favorite top?
Oh, favorite. Well, oh God, that's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
like, so in terms of the biggest, it would have to be Falling Skies and Alcatraz.
Yeah.
But I was mostly a technician for for those shows, so that was definitely an up for me. But in terms of the numbers, definitely the Battletop video about candies.
Yeah.
It's literally listicle videos, but it's 1.6 million views and was happy about it.
Nice.
It was a team effort to get it there, but that was the highest. But my favorite production, it's hard to say. It's hard to
Yeah.
say. Like each has its own flavor. Like and my more recent ones are in music videos, and you can find them all there too.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. You've worked on some music videos.
Yeah.
I heard you saying you're probably going down to like the Caribbean for one shoot or something.
Yeah, there's talks of flying me out to Jamaica to shoot a couple of music videos there.
Cool. That's really cool, man. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
You check him out. He'll be around here as well. So, but check out those little social media handles as well as your website. And yeah, he'll be around here. So if you guys have any questions, he's more like
Mhm.
you got the film knowledge. I got the audio knowledge. This guy's
Yeah.
got some film knowledge, so it's good to have around, especially once we
Mhm.
get the green screen studio, which is actually quite close.
Mhm.
Closer, it's obviously closer than it's ever been, but it's only got a couple steps that should be pretty quick.
Definitely.
And then yeah, check it out. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely.
Thank you for joining us. It's been another edition of PoCommunity. Have a good one.
You too.